I've got a special delivery on the Helijet come over from Vancouver Island. Here it is on the Vancouver side, and it's time for another Saturday service where I worship at the altar of broken machines. Let's check it out. The back rail will be filthy, I'm sure. Let's see, any rust in the bottom here? No, looking good. Do these little switchies work? Yep, okay, twisty, nice. How about the underside? Both of the flippers going. All right, I'm gonna start wiping it down with some silicone spray. Of course, these machines often are in storage and are completely filthy, so it's gonna take a couple of passes along the back rail. Then I'm gonna use isopropyl alcohol to wipe down the bed, also disgusting. The sponge bar is flat like usual, that's pretty normal, but it needs to look more like this, kind of squishy, and I'm gonna put this fresh one back in over the needles. This will press the needles down towards the floor, hold them in place, so when I move them around, they shouldn't just kind of be like flopping in and out. They should have just a little bit of resistance. So the original accessory box came with a little thing of oil, which I think burst open and spilled everywhere, including all over these little rulers here. And when I took a closer look, I realized all the rulers had their original protective film on them. I'm going to leave the rest of those for the delight of the person who bought it. And once I get all of the oil off of everything, then I'm going to look inside the carriage. The stitch dial is pretty gross. And I was able to get one handle screw off, but then look at this. So this is why we always use Japanese screwdrivers, because these Japanese screw is strip. That's okay. I can get into most of the stuff that I need to do without taking the carriage apart. Then it's onto the underside. This tube back here is where the carriage rides on the back rail. So it, of course, is disgusting because we saw the back rail was disgusting. And then after I clean that out, I'm going to have to re-grease with some fresh silicone grease. I'm going to move the dial around here so I can get in, even though I can't get the carriage apart, but that's going to be okay since this one is in pretty good condition. Move that little dial back so we can get the stitch dial back. And then I'm going to look at the sinker plate. These brushes usually are pretty sticky because they got stuff underneath. So again, Japanese screwdriver. We're going to take those wheels off, see what we can find. Yes, delicious. All right. We'll peel that stuff out and then put the wheel back on. Much better spin there. And then the other side, I suspect we will see some of the same. Yep, somebody's little pink fuzzies under here. And that's what we got out of just 2 wheels. All right, now we put the sinker plate on. We're going to grease up the back rail again, fresh silicone, and also a little bit of the spray silicone so that when we wipe it around with the carriage, it should mingle and get nice and greasy. Now we're going to take off some of these spots from the carriage. I'm using a melamine sponge. This is just kind of an off-brand magic eraser so that I can get all of the crud off. This uses a little bit of water so that I go back in after with some alcohol to make sure it's nice and dry. And that's it. I'll see you on the next Saturday service.